It started as a whisper, a picture in a magazine of a lone figure before Patagonia's jagged peaks. That image became a symbol of freedom and possibility, a world bigger than my own. Over the years, the whisper grew into a call: South America. I knew I needed more than a vacation. I needed a journey. The plan traversed the continent solo, with just a backpack and an open heart. The decision was terrifying and exhilarating. I saved every penny, worked extra shifts, and pared my life down to essentials. Friends questioned my sanity, but going alone was the point. I wanted to rely on myself, to be open to the world without a filter. This was about discovering a new version of me. I bought a one-way ticket to Lima, Peru. The date, June 16, 2025, became my beacon. Evenings were spent tracing routes on maps: Inca trails, Bolivian salt flats, Argentine pampas, Brazilian jungles. The scale was overwhelming, but excitement won out over fear. What if I got lonely? What if something went wrong? But what if I saw the most beautiful sunrise of my life? What if I learned to dance the tango in Buenos Aires? I chose to focus on the possibilities. I decided to trust the process, the road, and myself. This journey was my declaration of independence. I was ready to answer that persistent whisper. The world was waiting. My heart pounded with a mix of joy and fear. I was about to embark on the greatest adventure of my life. The dream was finally real. My backpack became my world, a 50-liter vessel for 6 months of life. Choosing it was crucial, comfortable, durable, just the right size. Packing was a lesson in minimalism. Every item had to earn its place. I laid out everything: versatile clothes, a rain jacket, layers for all climates. Packing cubes kept it organized. Tops, bottoms, socks, all in their place. Essentials: first aid kit, water filter, power adapter, battery pack. My phone was my map, translator, and connection to home. I packed a journal to capture the feelings, not just the photos. The final weigh-in heavy, but manageable. Zipping up that last pocket felt like closing one chapter and opening another. My room was full of things I'd leave behind. My backpack held what truly mattered. I realized happiness didn't require much. Just courage, curiosity, and what I could carry. The rest would be discovered on the road. I was ready to let go of comfort and embrace the unknown. The backpack was more than gear. It was a symbol of freedom. I took one last look around, shouldered my pack, and stepped into the adventure. Everything I needed was on my back. The journey was about to begin. I felt light, unburdened, and alive. The world was out there waiting for me. I was ready to find out what really mattered. The road would teach me the rest. The plane descended through coastal fog. Lima appeared, sprawling to the Pacific. Stepping off the plane felt like entering another world. The air was thick with salt, exhaust, and something uniquely Peruvian. My senses were on high alert. Everything was new and intense. I was alone in South America. Navigating the airport, I clutched my backpack and found the official taxi stand. The ride to Miraflores was a blur of street art, markets, and chaotic traffic. My Spanish was clumsy, but a smile went a long way. The hostel was a sanctuary. Travelers from everywhere, backpacks lined up like colorful soldiers. We were all chasing something, all part of a temporary tribe. That evening, I walked to the Malecon cliffs overlooking the ocean. The sunset painted the sky orange and purple. Paragliders floated overhead. I watched the Pacific waves crash below, feeling awe and gratitude. All the planning and worry had led to this. The fear was still there, but wonder overshadowed it. I was at the beginning of my journey, the continent waiting to be explored. I took a deep breath of salty air and smiled. I had made it. I was ready. From Lima, I journeyed into the Andes destination, Cusco, ancient Inca capital. The bus ride climbed through deserts and green valleys, the air thinning with every turn. Cusco was a blend of Inca stonework and Spanish colonial charm, mystical and ancient. My goal? Machu Picchu, via the challenging Salcante trek. The trek pushed me to my limits: cloud forests, mountain passes, and jungle descents. Altitude made every step a battle, but camaraderie with fellow hikers kept us going. At dawn, we reached Machu Picchu as the sun rose and the clouds parted. The stone city was more breathtaking than any photo. Walking through the ruins, I felt the ingenuity and spirit of the Inca people. Peru was more than Machu Picchu. It was cocoa, vibrant markets, and conversations with locals. The country taught me resilience and the power of history. It was the perfect introduction to the Andes magic. The past and present coexisted in beautiful harmony. I left Peru changed, humbled, and inspired. The adventure was just beginning. Crossing into Bolivia, the landscape shifted to the vast altiplano like another planet. My first stop, Copacabana on the sapphire waters of Lake Titicaca. Hiking Isla del Sol felt like walking on the roof of the world. The highlight Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat. A 3-day tour took me across endless white salt, cacti-covered islands, and surreal reserves. We drove past volcanoes, red and green lagoons, and flamingo-filled lakes. Nights were freezing, shelters basic, but the raw beauty was unforgettable. Stargazing on the Altiplano, the Milky Way blazing overhead, was spiritual. Bolivia was challenging, wild, and rewarding. The landscapes were stripped to essentials: rock, sand, water, sky, nature at its most extreme and beautiful. The discomfort made the experience richer. Bolivia taught me to appreciate raw, untouched beauty. The most unforgettable moments lay far outside my comfort zone. I left with a new respect for the wild. From Bolivia's deserts, I descended into Argentina's passionate heart. Buenos Aires was a whirlwind, European boulevards, tango in La Boca, and the soul of the city alive in every corner. I took a tango class, awkward at first, but learned it's a conversation without words. At a milonga, I watched couples glide with elegance and passion, the heart of Argentine culture. Then south to Patagonia, the landscape that first inspired my dream. In El Chalten, I trekked to glacial lakes and watched Fitzroy emerge from the clouds at sunrise. The weather was wild, but the views were worth every step. The final adventure, Perito Moreno Glacier, a river of ice still advancing. Watching ice calve into Lago Argentino was humbling and powerful. Argentina was a land of contrasts, tango halls to icy wilderness. It taught me about passion, persistence, and nature's force. The country's spirit was fierce and unforgettable. Every moment was vivid, every landscape dramatic. I left Argentina with a heart full of awe. The journey pressed on, each country a new lesson. South America's soul was becoming part of me. My journey ended in Brazil, a nation bursting with life. Flying into Rio, the city shimmered between mountains and ocean. Samba drifted from every corner. The people's warmth was infectious. I visited Iguazu Falls, hundreds of cascades thundering into a massive gorge. The roar and spray were exhilarating, nature's power on full display. Back in Rio, I embraced the beach life. Copacabana, Ipanema, sunsets from Sugarloaf Mountain. I stood at Christ the Redeemer, the city sprawling below. Brazil taught me to relax, embrace spontaneity, and find joy in simple things. Caipirinhas on the beach, samba in Lapa, laughter with new friends. Brazil's energy was the perfect finale. The continent had captured my heart. I left with a renewed sense of wonder. It was a sun-drenched farewell. A solo journey isn't just highlights, it's hard lessons too. Loneliness crept in, especially at night, and language barriers could feel insurmountable. Food poisoning on a Bolivian bus, a stolen phone in Argentina, challenges tested my resilience. I learned to be resourceful, to rely on my own strength. But for every hardship, there was kindness, a shared meal, a hostel owner's care, locals guiding me with patience. These small acts of connection were the antidote to loneliness. The difficulties made the good moments shine brighter. Overcoming obstacles gave me confidence I never knew I had. The journey taught me that things will go wrong, and that's okay. I discovered I was more capable than I thought. The road stripped me down, then built me back up, stronger and more compassionate. The gifts and challenges were inseparable. That's what made the journey real. As my plane lifted from Rio, South America was no longer just a map. It was part of me. 6 months had passed in a flash. I was not the same person who'd arrived in Lima. The continent had changed my perspective on the world and myself. The biggest lesson: let go. The best moments were unplanned. Detours, spontaneous invitations, days without a plan. I learned to embrace uncertainty and be present. The journey wasn't about ticking boxes, but about openness and curiosity. I found a quiet confidence, navigating cities, crossing language barriers, pushing my limits. I learned fear is just a feeling and courage is acting anyway. My greatest souvenir was independence. For anyone hearing the call to explore, go. Don't wait for perfect timing or company. South America welcomes backpackers with open arms and a huge heart. It will challenge and reward you in ways you can't imagine. Pack your bag, buy the ticket, take the leap. The world is waiting, and the journey will change you forever.